But you're doing so great in school. Hang out with your friends. Go to church. God will take care of it. Get outside. Just don't think about it. General responses to a not so general problem. If you don't understand what it feels like, you wouldn't understand it's not that simple. Depression, anxiety, mental illnesses is not an easy fix, especially when you've lived with it for so long. More and more people today, especially college students, are coming forward with their struggles of mental illness. It's time we take action and find ways to slow the future amount of mental illnesses. I have struggled with anxiety, depression, intrusive thoughts, and feelings of no self-worth. I believe if I had had the chance when I was younger to learn how to handle life's misfortunes and develop coping skills, that I would not be just seeing a therapist at the age of 22. Luckily, the farthest I've ever gone with mental illness is it pushed me to self-harm and then isolate myself. Others were not so lucky. This is why I believe that children throughout their public lives should be given classes with how to deal with their feelings and ways to cope with them in order to prevent future mental illnesses and any harm that could come out of them. My points today will be why mental illnesses are more common today, who suffers, and how it can be prevented at an early age. According to anxietycenter.com, mental illnesses are on the rise for numerous reasons. These include an increase in performance and social pressures, sexual orientation and gender confusion, social media, poor sleep, increased financial pressures, and the increased amount of sexual explicit content. I believe social media and social pressures and financial pressures are the biggest contributors to why kids are developing mental illnesses at such an early stage in life. There is a social media ideal that, let's be honest, really anybody fits into, but everyone strives for it. Kids being aware of this at a younger age can feel self-doubt early on. They contribute social media likes to their self-worth, which from common sense is not true, but even I find myself kind of going back to that from time to time. This brings me to who suffers from mental illnesses. No shocker, all ages suffer from mental illnesses, but depression and anxiety are more prevalent in ages 18 to 29. This likelihood is even higher if you are a person of LGBTQ. According to Save.org, depression affects 20 to 25% of Americans 18 plus in a given year, and only half of those affected with mental illness seek help. According to a study by the National Epidemiologic Study on Alcohol and Related Conditions, only 23% of college students with a mental disorder sought treatment during their survey time. They stated that male undergraduates are at a higher risk for suicide, but females are more likely to screen positive for major depression and anxiety disorders. Students from lower socioeconomic backgrounds are at a higher risk for depressive and anxiety symptoms. Poor mental health is also more common among students with relationship stressors, low social support, or victimization by sexual violence. These mental illnesses affect a good chunk of people, but only some seek help. And this is why we need to offer help earlier to avoid such numbers. Classes earlier on in school are a great way to help kids cope with the hardships in their lives. These classes could teach a technique called EFT tapping. This technique focuses on energy hotspots to restore balance to your energy, calming kids down and letting them keep control in the face of anxiety or depression. New York and Virginia have already implemented mental health classes in their public schools. Hopefully in the coming years we see a change from those kids when they get older. Mental health is on the rise, and our best way to combat this for the future is to implement classes and techniques for kids at an early age, so they can develop these skills and be mentally prepared for the future. With classes throughout public school and possibly into college, this can be done. We are so invested in the future that we have forgotten the most important element, being happy with the future that we have invested in. Thank you.